All right, Shalom, Yashala, giving all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakadash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops, great millstone, much salutation to the brothers teaching the word for the hopeful elect, soon to be the elect most high will. To the hopeful extended elect, Shalom, blessings. Just a quick word of the day is hammer, and it's written in the scripts. Well, this particular scripture I'm getting, Jeremiah 50 and 23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among nations? And you know that Babylon is talking about America. This is great confusion here. Babylon comes from the word Babel, which Babel means confusion. Babal, the Hebrew word. You know, when people babble, that means they're talking with confusion. And, you know, the hammer, you know, this so-called white man has been a weapon against the Israelites. He is also known as Koyan, Cain. Hebrew word for Cain is Koyan. He has been a weapon. He has even been the sword of the Most High upon the Israelites. And I looked up that word.
Strong's H 6360. Patish. Patish.
And that would be Patash in Hebrew. Patash. Go down to the definition. Intensively from an unused root meaning to pound, a hammer, just like hammer. So he pounds upon the earth. He pounds upon the nations. And we told you, it says figuratively of Babylon as destroyer. And we told you all these things that were coming, prophesied of them. That, you know, Trump was going to be coming up with these draconian laws that pounding upon the Israelites with immigration laws, attacking Jake, so-called Negroes, attacking the Latinos, you know, outlawing, you know, things that pertain to truth. You know, they're gonna, you know, turning everything digital. You know, this is him beating upon the earth as a hammer, man, and coming with his malicious. Now, you know, I looked up some of the laws, even with Trump, modern day Nero. This is Babylon over again, America. This is spiritual Sodom in Egypt right here. This is Rome all over again. This is the last captivity. It says, let me go. Some of Trump's laws, national security, presidential. The Trump Declaration of for enduring peace and prosperity. This proclamation announces the Trump peace agreement, which aims to end more than 2 years of conflict in Gaza, co-signed by Egypt President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, Qatar, look at that name, Emir Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, and Turkey President. What a damn name. The statement affirms a shared commitment to dismantling extremism and resolving future disputes through diplomatic engagement and diplomacy rather than force. The signatories emphasize cooperation, mutual respect, and a vision for peaceful, prosperous Middle East. It has none. I mean, you know, that's man's mind, but the heart of the king is in Most High's hands. So whatever these people negotiate, Most High is in control to steer it another way. It's almost like the paddle, the ship, and then the paddle that drives the ship. Well, Most High, plays that paddle, driving the ship or controlling the ship. And look, it says unlocking cures for pediatric cancer with artificial intelligence. And it says this executive order aims to man, my English, prioritize investment in AI-enabled science, build world-class scientific data sets, and empower researchers and clinically, clinicians and clinicians with the tools needed to translate data and AI capabilities into prove care. And they use these big words and stuff like that, and they're really not big, but they use it because Jake he doesn't want to read all this, so he don't know what's going on, Jake. I mean, especially when it gets into these political laws, these political plans. You know, all Jake want to do is smoke blunts, and I'm talking about 2/3 really. Uh, Adjusting imports of timber, lumber, and their derivative products into the United States. Um, hey, you know what it says in scriptures? Hey, that the trees of Lebanon is going to rejoice against this dude because there's no fella, you know, to cut. So that's what they do. They just colonize lands. They take over. They use the resources and cut down the trees. It says Isaiah 14:8. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, uh, saying, since thou art laid down, no fellow has come against us. And if you start with beginning, it says, it goes into Lucifer, how is thou fallen? And it said, behold, I saw Lucifer fallen as lightning. So let me go to come on, man. See, and if you go up to Isaiah 14:4, it talks about Babylon. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how has the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. That golden city is America, an oppressor. Trump right now is the king of Babylon, you know, and they act as a hammer of the earth. They pound and they break down nations. They do it through military might and the political Democratic parties, the Republican parties. I mean, two wings of the same bird. So this is what they do. They exercise their power. It says the righteous. I mean, when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. So people are feeling the effects. Even the regular so-called white people, their families are feeling the effects of the cruel Lord, a cruel Lord, a cruel King. Of Babylon. This is Babylon, the great America. It says the Lord have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. See, so it is, and then it leads into talking about Lucifer. Oh, how thou hast fallen, Lucifer! And then they said, they shall nearly look up on thee, this the man. So when you have the correct understanding and the way Apostle Elders been teaching all the way back to the old Babylon, into this Babylon, all the way back to the old Rome to this Rome. Old Nineveh, this Nineveh. The spiritual aspect, the spiritual understanding of it, wrapped in this American political state. You can call it a country, it's a city also. Verse 6, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. There it goes. With a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger. He's a madman. And it talks about Esau, his character, even going back to Cain, he's a madman. Even Antiochus, they called him a madman, the wicked root that came out of Seleucus' empire. He's a madman. He came out to Alexander the Greek. So he's still playing that card. He's still playing those cards, Is persecuted and none hindereth. Yeah. And as they gradually move toward a new world order, they're gradually getting taken down from the inside out. It's a spiritual takedown. They don't really understand it. They're trying to, and they understand what prophecy is and what it means. They don't understand the reality because Most High has them proud in their heart. Like, yeah, we heard the prophets on the street. We know that it's in the Bible. We're just not really. We're not convinced. We don't believe we're going down. And that's the Most High, like giving that um, same heart to Pharaoh for that reason, to show his power, to taking them down, because America is a superpower. It's the number one superpower, and they emphasize their structure of being unstoppable and not being able to be taken down. They magnify their power through military might and through their, like we said, through their democracy, political strategies. And it could be regarding peace. It could be, no negotiations for peace. It could be regarding freedom and liberty. But of course, that comes with a cost. And when Obama was in office, he said that himself. He said, "You're gonna have to get freedom. You're gonna have to give a lot of it up. You're gonna have to, you want privacy. You're gonna have to give basically half of that up. And one bit of that, one, the percentage of that giving up also, if you want to negotiate, because it's all about business with America. Like we said, if you have enough money and you commit one of the worst crimes, well, you could possibly get off if you have good lawyers. So everything is done in business. Everything is done in terms of dealing with negotiations, in terms of basically of money, and how things are going to be laid out according to this economic system. What can we? It's like when you're a kid, and it's it's close to that wicked ass holiday. But when kids when we used to celebrate Halloween, we just thought it was fun, and we get candy, and then you trade your candy for for another kid's candy. And then you were like, well, even kids was like, well, that's not a good deal. You know, I got 3 Reese's cups, and you just offered me one Snicker. I need another Snickers. Well, I don't want to trade mine. So even kids knew about business, and this is about business. Even with Yahweh Shai, it's about business, but it's gonna get real personal. It's gonna get up close and personal. It says, so he smote the wrath with people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, none hindereth. So, like I said, and it goes into, um, um, and it says, it basically also says, um, what does it say? The whole chapter, man. And then, should be a New Living Translation on here. So, um, you can go all the way down, you know, and then it says, things that's going to be done back to him, a recompense. You could drop down to 21. It says, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land nor fill the face of the world with cities. And that's a part of that oppression getting taken down, you know. So that hammer is gonna Most High is gonna put up on him, man. He's gonna be hammered out of this earth, hammered out of his position, you know. And it even says, for I will rise up against them, said the Lord of hosts, Lord of armies, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, said the Lord. So, he's playing a important part of prophecy. We always go into that he plays this hammer. But it says also, how has it ceased? You know, how has the whole armor? And it says, verse 7, the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yeah. So that's what's going to happen when this man go down. Going to be rejoicing, singing. Um, till then, it's noise of the hammer pounding upon the people, pounding upon the earth. And you never know what's coming, man. Like with this man being in position, just things were quite going decently, I guess, before the 9/11. Then boom, it was a bomb, or the Oklahoma City bombing. Boom, out of nowhere, a bomb. You know, boom, out of nowhere, stage event, the Pearl Harbor event. Like so, you know, you don't know what this man is doing behind closed doors, what he's saying to these nations, and it comes out, of course, in the dirty laundry. But in the meanwhile, in the meantime, between time, you don't know what these America then told these people, what kind of ill dealings. So you be like, damn, why are these nations mad at us? Why are these nations so mad of America? Why these nations hate America? Like it says, and all these nations shall hate the whore. What's wrong? What's going on? So then you find out the dirty dealings that they been setting up with people, nations, other kings on earth. Next thing you know, boom, they bombing people, invading, going back on their contract, uh, you know, disregarding the negotiations of peace that they just set up with another nation. So you be like, damn, man. That's why you can ask, a businessman or somebody that's up on news, because a lot of them businessmen, they usually like, they used to, especially from the 80s or something, 90s, they used to waking up, drinking coffee, and buying a newspaper and seeing what's in the latest news. Even that popular movie Superman, he worked at the Daily Planet. So they pumping out news every day. Well, that's how these long sharks, these military men, these businessmen, uh, these people that's in political offices, you know, and the tail end of that too. They want to know what's going on around the world. What's the news, you know? And we're basically the new news of the years to come. GMS, you know. So things that's happening on Earth. If you want to know what things are happening, why it's happening, you watch GMS and you'll know if people are without understanding, because people are confused these days. They want to know what's happening with America, uh, with the cutting of food stamps. Our people still don't get it. You would think they would be the first ones to know, or just to be what do you call it? Um, it's a word for it. Just to be um, consider what times they're in, or what times they have been in. It's very similar. None's really changed. If a woman wears makeup every day, if you see her without a makeup, you're not gonna be surprised when she takes it off, or when she takes off a wig, or when she take off her eyelashes, because you see her every day that way before bed in the morning. But the people that she stays, that she, the people on the outside pretty much that don't see her that way, and every time they see her, she's in makeup and fully dressed. They're gonna think those are two different people. So that's what America is showing herself to the world as, a woman always made up, lipstick, hair done, and all that. But behind closed doors, the ones that sleep in the bed with America, up and personal, one that keeps up with all the news and keeps up with the hardcore edgy dealings, in every political matter and every presidential concern of, and some of the things a lot of the things that government tries to hide, they know. They like, well, we're not surprised, man. This is the same, and it's the same hammer of the earth. It's the same pounding that you hear in your head 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm talking about spiritual pounding of this so-called white man ruling the world. Um, it says they sleep lest they done mischief. So in our heads, every hour of the day, we know the so-called white man's up to something. He's about to do something, make something, create something, twist something, change something, transform something into another thing. Like it says, Satan transformed himself as an angel of light. Satan means adversary, Shaitan. So he's the hammer of the earth, but he's gonna play like he's the he if he breaks anything down, up, or pound on anything, is for his construction, or a construction of better, um, something better created. Like you see like a man working on a construction site, you be like, well, yeah, they're building a new McDonald's, they're building a new restaurant. It's gonna be lovely. So you're hearing all the pounding and all that, but behind closed doors, he's constructing, his new world order, and it's not gonna be nice for people, man. It'll be nice for the Luciferian, the followers of Lucifer, the followers of Satan. It'll probably be, pretty much along their lines of, yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's not too bad. You got gremlins and goons and vampires and zombies walking around here, and people are cool with it. I mean, even with like you'll see, Halloween. People are like that. That's that's a regular day for people. People do that before. They don't even have to be Halloween, man. So this is what's happening and going down in these today. You know. Anyway, hope it was edifying. To the next video. Shalom.